I was in boarding and somebody would, bring Aqua Fresh. Was like the biggest thing ever. Like that was like the biggest thing ever. Like that was like, this guy's got money. I think a little bit of loyalty in people would be better.
And it's Canadian. So.
Yeah, and the kind of people that I've met, it would be straight out of those McDojo videos. And my father was like the biggest superhero I have known. Fortunately, I lost my father when I was 20. Professor Carlos Almeida is one of the nicest guys that I have ever met. But I truly, really hate him. So I come from an era where that word really didn't cause that much trauma to people like it's supposed to. I think it's a pest control.
That's the BMC.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome to the MADtherapy Sessions podcast. In today's 9th episode, we have Jeetendra Khare. Jeetendra Khare has been involved with mixed martial arts since its very inception in India. He's an active competitor and a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu purple belt. He's the head coach and owner of Team Relentless in India. He established Evolution Combat Sports Academy in 2010 in Mumbai. He has worked as a technical director, event director, course coordinator, and a referee under various Jiu-Jitsu federation and is a certified legend in the game. So you started Evolution Sports and Fitness Academy. And how did that happen? And when did you start? Like, what's the story behind that?
So I wanted to train MMA for a very long time, and so I connected with a few old friends and from the martial arts community way back when I was training kickboxing and boxing, and so for a very long time I realized there was nothing like MMA being trained in India.
Okay.
This
was in the year
2008.
Wow, that's almost like 14 years back.
Yeah, and so for a good a year, I went around the whole city of Bombay, meeting all kinds of people and coaches, and believe me, I could write a book about that, and that will be like a very, very graphic novel. And
like
finally,
experiences with the
I've had the kind of people that
a book on it.
Yeah, I should maybe. Yeah. And believe me, I've had such interesting. I had a friend. We both were into powerlifting back then.
Okay.
So he knew I had, some bit of a martial arts experience because I started training martial arts when I was in the 5th standard.
Okay.
And, I've been competing. So my school had boxing as one of the sports. So I was boxing since 6th standard and stuff like that. So my friend was like, nay, let's add a martial arts element to our training. It'll help our powerlifting and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, sure. I would love to do that again. And so this was, I think the last time I competed in a martial arts competition was 1996.
Okay. 26. Okay.
Yeah. After that, till about 2008, 2007, 2008, I didn't even, ever punch a bag. I remember I started following Pride, which was that time being aired on ESPN. Chanced upon it in 2004, and I remember thinking that when it started, I was like, oh, this is like a really bad form of WWF.
Okay.
So, and I couldn't figure out, I thought maybe this is Japanese WWF or something like that. And I was like, okay, let's watch it.
Yeah.
And, I remember my first Pride event that I watched. I remember Fedor was the main event, which had the most impact on me. And that's when I realized, no, this couldn't be choreographed. I remember Rampage walking out with a chain around the neck, and that kind of convinced me that it's a Japanese wrestling, and actually that's what kept me watching. And so I was like, okay, this sounds interesting. And when you come from a martial arts background, you're like, okay, you want to watch that. And then there was also parallelly, I remember a few K1 events that were being shown on ESPN at that point, but I don't think it was a regular feature, so you could chance upon it every now and then. but I think that was all there was. So in 2007, 2008, my friend was like, "Oh, you've been a martial artist, so let's do this." And I was like, "Cool, let's figure
Yeah.
it out."
Yeah.
So we went around. I think for almost 7, 8 months, we went around the entire city
Okay. You and your
trying
friend.
to, yeah, me and my friend meeting people from various different martial arts and trying to train. And yeah, it was really interesting to a point where one of the days I warned my friend that the next time he does this to me, I'm probably punching him in the face. So yeah, I met some so-called stalwarts in the Indian martial arts scene,
Okay.
and it was fun. It was fun.
Would you want to share any, without naming them, would you want to share any experience with
Yeah,
them?
so I one of my favorite was we went up to this guy. We had to book an appointment, and we went
Okay.
up to his bungalow.
Okay.
And so we reached there. We knocked the door,
Mm-hmm.
and there was like a little window that came out in the door, and they're like, "Yeah, what do you want?" Like, so we've come to meet so and so.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, "Do you have an ID?" What? Like, do you have an ID?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, come on. I mean, you're talking about 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
I'm sure most people listening to this might just be born then.
Yeah.
So back in the days, IDs was a big thing.
Yeah.
Like we would ride bikes without driving licenses. So yeah. So like, okay, like
Yeah.
I've got a driving license. Okay. So they closed that window, and then they reappeared after 5 minutes, and they're like,
Okay.
okay, come in quickly. And then they close the door behind. And
Okay.
they're like, we have to have these safety measures. Okay.
Okay.
So then we are led into this room, and there's this obviously the man we're supposed to meet sitting in a nice camouflage gi on a punching bag, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I train special forces, so my life is always at risk." Okay, that didn't sound right, but whatever. So then, yeah, he tried to sell us packages of how we could learn martial arts under him in 6 months and
Okay.
stuff like that. And we're like, just didn't.
You really need to write a book. I'm
Yeah,
seeing
yeah,
this
yeah. I mean, it just felt like, no, I don't think I'm learning martial arts here. Oh yeah, but those are like couple of
so
incidents.
those incidents led you to probably start your own thing.
No, so what happened was I reconnected with a couple of friends from old days, and so what came out back then was that there's not anyone really practicing MMA, and so one of the good advices that my friend gave me was, why don't you take up judo? And that is one of the most legit martial arts, and I've always known about judo, and I've always followed judo. I had, and because my instructor back in school was a judo brown belt, I believe, back then. So he used to teach us a couple of throws, but not really. He wasn't like a judo person or teach a lot of judo. But surprisingly, way back when he would teach us a lot of stuff like throws and not just traditional karate. So I was like, yeah, sure. And that's when I went and I joined the judo academy. And I learned judo for about 2 years. And in 2009, so I was like, okay, maybe we need to really look at. So I remember, in 2009, I was working for a corporate, but I was always from sports background or fitness background. So always had a dream of starting my own gym.
Understood.
And so one of my kind of acquaintances had a gym, and he was kind of looking to shut down because he couldn't manage it.
Okay.
And he just called me and he said, listen, I'm going to shut down my place, and are you interested in purchasing some equipment?
Yeah. Okay.
So I was like, why do you want to shut down? So he's like, no, I don't have the time or the finances anymore to kind of manage it. So one thing led to the other, and I was like, 3 months down the line, I was discussing taking over that gym.
Okay.
And so that's when I thought that so the gym had kind of a dedicated hall, and
Okay.
I was, I think it's a pest control.
That's the BMC.
Yeah. So at that point I was like, let's try this out. man, let's start this and try it out. So I tied up with a couple of people, and I remember December 2009 when we launched our MMA center along with the weight training area, because back then, attracting somebody to come to just an MMA gym was not a big thing. It so we initially we had a lot of our members who would come in to lift weights, and they would be like, okay, what is this? And you're like, okay, we train mixed martial arts, why don't you come try it out? And that's how we got a good start off. So because way back then there was no UFC on television, and trash talking was not a big thing. And it wasn't cool to roam around in rash guards and spats and stuff like that. So yeah, okay, it's done. So yeah, so that's how we started. I've 2009 December we launched Evolution Fitness and Combat Sports Academy. Over the last I can say now.
So you launched it as an MMA gym?
No, as a weight training gym,
Okay.
which also had an MMA facility.
Okay.
So at that point, obviously, like I said, there was this belief that just doing something with martial arts is not going to, is going to be one. People are going to think it's one of those dojos and for kids and ghee kharidna padega or ye and wo and all that. So we kind of just we said let's start this as an experiment. And we started it as an experiment in 2009, and then we sustained it, and 2022, and now we have only a MMA training center and not a gym anymore.
It's been like what, 14 years? Almost 13 years.
13 years, yeah.
So I mean, looking back at it, like how do you feel? I mean, it's one of the oldest MMA gyms in the city, and what do you feel about it? You've put so much time and effort and love into it.
Huge learning experiences, huge growth in terms of personally, also in terms of how the whole outlook towards the game has changed.
Okay.
And I mean, it's been a journey for me from suburbs, from Kandivali to Bandra, and so it's been nice. It's been good 13 years of my life.
I'll call that as an improvement only, like a step up from.
Yeah, I think everything's an improvement. Yeah, we all. I think in the hindsight, every experience is always good. You're going to only learn from it. You're only going to get better. Don't believe in regrets. So I think.
So my next question was exactly that. Like how do you think has the sport changed from back when you started and to now when you see the sport? So what do you think is the main difference?
So huge. I think I mean I can't even put a number to it. Maybe 100 folds. I remember it took us probably a year, 15 months to reach 10 members. Okay. And that was a big achievement for us because we reached double figures. So I mean it was now, I mean, compare that to now, the amount of MMA gyms in the city and the amount of people practicing MMA, talking about it, and it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Obviously, it comes with both the good and the bad.
Okay.
But I guess it's part of growth. You take it as it is. So yeah, it's been a crazy journey. It's been a crazy journey.
And when you think about the sport MMA, what's one thing you like about it and one thing which you say like dislike about it, or probably you would want to change about it?
Like about it, I think it's I mean, for me it has been a lifestyle more than a sport. It's been I don't know. I don't know the right term, but yeah, it's been something which my life revolves around. So I guess there's dislike. I don't think I dislike much about this sport. If there's one thing I would like to change, is the the I think I don't know if it's a generational thing or what it is, but I think a little bit of loyalty in people would be better. But yeah,
True.
I guess it's
That's reduced, like, overall in every sense of, in every way of life. Like, loyalty is something which is easily, I mean,
so I guess it's
and back when,
difficult to find.
yeah, true, true. So back when you were starting, who were your role models? Maybe for MMA, maybe for weightlifting, maybe for, I mean,
So I
powerlifting,
mean,
or
growing up, obviously, I guess for most people, their fathers are their role models. So yeah, my father was like the biggest superhero I have known. He unfortunately I lost my father when I was 20. I've always wanted to be a one tenth of a man he was, and I hope I become that to my son. I think he was well ahead of his time in his way of thinking, and he was very non-interfering. Like even when whether it's a decision about a career or anything, and I would walk up to him and ask him, and he'd be like, "Listen, you need to make that call. I can give you my opinion, but I'm never going to make that call for you."
yeah,
So he was always very approachable to talk, but at the same time not interfering. He would always tell me, "See, listen, regardless of what I tell you, you're going to do what your friends tell you or what your
yeah,
peers are going to put pressure on." So yeah, here's my opinion. I know I can't take it personally because I know you're not going to follow it, but if you want to do it my way, this is how I would have done it. So yeah, he was one. When I remember when I was back in the days when I was weightlifting and bodybuilding, I'd look up to Dorian Yates. That time he was Mr. Olympia, he was the man. And so I kind of followed him and his training ideologies and what I mean. At that time, most people would obviously the most successful name in bodybuilding was Arnold, but Dorian Yates came around and changed a lot of
inspired you also.
yeah, and he changed a lot of ideologies of towards bodybuilding, about how people thought about bodybuilding and how people looked at weightlifting and stuff like that. He changed that whole approach, and that kind of attracted me towards trying to do my research on him and stuff like that. In MMA, I believe I have. For me, there's only one role model, and that will always be GSP. I think he was the complete athlete. He was a martial artist, and I think.
So he's a favorite MMA athlete too.
Yeah, all time. I think all time. Definitely the greatest of all time for me.
Any few qualities which you loved about him or which you want to imbibe from him?
So the biggest thing I think was that he was there's a very famous quote which he put down in his autobiography, which a Michelangelo quote, where he said, the biggest fear in life is not setting your goal too high, it's setting it too low and achieving it. And that shows about the man. He was, I think, I mean, easily, if you look at the whole sport of MMA, he was probably one of the most humble champions we ever had.
Yeah.
He changed the way people looked at MMA. You would look at MMA before that, and you would see a lot of guys with mohawks and t-shirts, and that tough guy look. And GSP was one of the first people to put on a suit.
Yeah.
And,
And it's Canadian. So.
yeah, and be clean shaven, and and he kind of gave it a very corporate look and made MMA very acceptable. And yet, I mean, my whole point being that he was always hungry for more, but never cocky.
Okay.
He was always humble. He knew, I mean, if you look at his journey, he was he was never content with what he had. He always wanted to be better every fight.
Yeah.
It wasn't just being a champion, it was being a dominant champion, it was being the best ever. And I think over a period of time, people have now begun to recognize him as one of the greatest ever. But
He went to different weight classes also, right?
yeah, so he came back and he won the middleweight title.
Yeah.
I think that's the only fight he did in a middleweight. It not really had a stint in a different weight class, but I believe he also, if you look at his career, he beat the past, present, and the future, and then retired.
Yeah.
And then came back in a heavier weight class and won the title. And no, you can argue all night, but for me, he's going to be the greatest ever. Like he'd be a true martial artist.
And he is true MMA athletes and fans all over the world consider him as the GOAT.
Yeah,
it's subjective, but
it's like what he himself said, that there is no greatest of all time. Greatest of all times will also change. I'm sure, a decade down the line, people would be talking about Khabib or a John Jones or a Kamaru Usman, and I think it's an opinion. It's a perspective, and
for
that
you,
changes.
it's GSP.
Yeah. For me, for all,
he brought the
it'll be
cultural
GSP.
change, like you said, people were cocky, and he brought a little,
not really
humbleness.
cocky, but he made the sport acceptable to all. He was he was a tough guy who didn't need to act to be a tough guy. I mean, he could kick your ass, but he wouldn't go around saying that I'm going to kick your ass.
Like the perfect ambassador for the sport.
Yeah, and I guess at that point the sport needed that.
True. And what's your relation with Professor Carlos Almeida? Because I see you guys interacting a lot on Instagram, and so what's his like?
So I personally feel Professor Carlos Almeida is one of the nicest guys that I have ever met, but I truly really hate him because he's out there competing practically, I don't know what, 7 or 8 weekends a month. I mean, I know there are only 4, but he somehow finds 7 or 8 weekends a month to compete. And he's always competing, rubbing it in our faces. I mean, I just hate him. And he's jealous of my hair because he can't have any. I hope he's listening. No, we met around, I think now 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
And
he came to India, or you went?
He came to India. We were actually introduced by one of a common friend who's based out of UK, a Pakistani gentleman who also practices BJJ and is a very high level BJJ practitioner.
Okay.
And he just told me that, listen, I would like you to meet one of the guys that I know, and he'd be a good connect for you. Why don't you just have a chat with him? And then we started chatting, and one thing led to the other. We hosted him in India, and he's just been a very very big motivational force behind not just me, the team also. He's strange thing is that it's not like we are affiliated or we pay him a fee or anything. But he sees any of my guys fighting and he'd be like, oh, this was a good fight, but tell him to work on this.
True.
Or he'll see a training clip and he'll be like, okay, you guys are doing well, but focus on this. So it's with him, it's about giving, and it's not just so I remember 3-4 years ago we wanted to start a kids BJJ program because I think that's something which is very very badly needed in our country.
True.
We have kids doing martial arts that really don't make any sense. I mean, really don't make any sense. But it's just because it's popular, some because it's an Olympic sport, whatever. People do it for jobs and stuff. But we've been trying to push, talking to schools, talking to the government, trying to get BJJ on some of the curriculum and stuff like that. And at that point, I approached Professor Carlos, and I told him, I said, I'd like your help. And he was like, he was very happy to share with us his syllabus and stuff like that. So our BJJ program has, obviously is run under his guidance. And you won't believe, I mean, till this day, he's probably not taken a single rupee from us for all that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because today affiliations mean how much can you pay me?
Yeah.
When are you flying me down? Where are you going to keep me? And it's none of those with him. It's about, let's work to grow the sport. I know it's not something that is, there and you need to establish it. We'll talk about all this when it comes to it. Right now, let's start something.
It's true love for the sport, basically.
Oh yeah, yeah. And he's like I said, he's never ever told us, like, okay, I've been helping you guys. Okay, and one of the things that I've seen with most of the guys, or I've experienced, is, oh, I'll come down, I'll give you a belt, so let's get affiliated. And it's never all that with him. It's never all that with him. It's about training. It's about the sport. It's about knowledge exchange. So yeah, I mean, we are practically chatting and bantering with each other almost every next day.
I mean, I have not met him, but he's been very nice to me, and because I also interact with him, and
Yeah, he does that. He does that to people.
Yeah.
But believe me, you won't like him when you meet him, because he'll make you realize how you're not good enough.
Okay. So coming to that, also I wanted to you to address your online beef with Susovan. So like, what's that all that about?
So
I mean, you keep
we've been
saying
training.
I mean, I won't call it ragging, but then you keep pushing him.
Yeah, I bully him.
Yeah, you bully him.
Yeah. So I come from an era where that word really didn't cause that much trauma to people like it's supposed to today. Like it's supposed to. So I mean, it's just when you spend so much time with people, you tend to start
Hating them? No.
yeah, hating. I hate all my guys. Believe me, I hate all my guys because they're there every day trying to rip me apart. So I hate them for that. But yeah, Sushovan, I remember Sushovan started training with us in 2010.
Okay.
So 12 years of being on the mat together. He was all of 47 kgs back then.
Okay.
I mean, not that he's any bigger now, but he's about 52, 53 now. And yeah, he's been one of my oldest training partners. He's
It's a long association, and
yeah,
something
I
what you-
think
what you
he
said
was
earlier,
probably
like-
the second member of the gym. Second,
Yeah.
easily second or the third member of our gym.
and something what it like spoke about earlier about loyalty, something like.
Yeah. So we've been around each other for 12 years now, and
But
it's
why do you bully him then online? I mean,
because I can. He needs to put on another 50 kgs and put an end to it. So I guess the day he does that, yeah, he can bully me.
maybe he's waiting to retaliate back.
Or maybe he's waiting for me to get when I become 75 and he's 70 and he's 5 years younger, something like that. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted you to address that because I see you guys like all every day.
He's not on social media, so it's just me bullying him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not on social media.
It's just one-way traffic.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It reaches
So
him.
how does he come to know that you?
Yeah, it reaches him through sources. He knows I'm doing it.
Also, you have been an athlete. Now you are a coach. So how's the whole coaching experience?
Yeah, that didn't. That, I'm still an athlete.
No, you
Not
are an
retired
athlete.
yet.
Okay, you are an athlete, but that you were
No,
only
I'm
an
just
athlete.
joking.
Now
You
are
don't
an
need to
athlete
correct
and a
this.
coach. No, I'm just
Come on,
like,
no. I keep saying this to my guys that I'm old, not dead. So
but how's the whole coaching experience?
not good. Not good. I would not advise anyone to do it. It's the most
Why is
thankless. It's the most thankless job on the planet.
Okay.
Believe me. You tend to hurt a lot of people's knife with your back, and when they win, it's all theirs. When they lose, it's all yours. So yeah, it's. Believe me, you don't want to be a coach. You just don't want to be a coach. I guess.
But there has to be something which you love about it because that's why you're doing it, right?
See, I mean, can I use the F word?
Yeah, you can.
So I have always believed that anybody who's doing this sport has to be some amount of fucked in the head. So I guess that me being a coach is me being fucked in the head.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I have all the qualities of being a coach. I hate people in general. Yeah, I don't like to have fun.
Okay.
So I guess I couldn't do anything else. So here I am.
Okay.
But yeah, not something I would advise anyone to do.
Speaking of advice, a lot of new people want to join MMA or probably want to join a gym, and probably their number one concern may be the safety factor. So, what do you have to say about that? I mean,
So I truly believe any sport, be it even chess, comes with its own risk, with its own injuries. So it's not any more safer or any more dangerous than any other sport. I believe that as a person, when you're starting off, this is something that I've always said, and something very difficult for people to understand. But you need to find a place where you can match I don't know the term. I think the cool term to say is vibe, or energy or whatever. Because sometimes you just land up in the wrong room, and that
with the
can be
wrong
more
people.
dangerous. Yeah, that can be more dangerous than the sport itself.
Okay.
Because we are in a sport where let's be really honest. My best friends want to kick me and punch me and throw me every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So imagine if they were not my friends, what they would want to do to me.
Yeah.
So I guess that is very, very important. As a new person starting off, I think it's always very important to understand that it's a journey.
Okay.
It's a journey. I mean, what puts me off is the first question people ask is, हाँ मैं UFC fighter कब बन सकता हूँ? I know this person is not going to last. It's not going to last because there is no answer to that question. I don't know. 3 months, 3 years, 30 years. I really don't know.
Yeah.
There is no answer to that question. It's also a very individual thing. What is what people look at is I believe growth in this sport is very personal, is dependent on me. How much am I open to learning?
Okay.
Right. Most of the people that I see or I have coached over now I can say 13 years, is they all like to learn till they achieve something.
Okay.
And then they stop learning, and then the ego kicks in.
Okay. So it's because of the ego. That's what.
Yeah, it's very easy to develop ego in this sport. 6 months down the line, you dominate somebody, and now you're suddenly a star.
Yeah.
I've had guys who've trained. One of the things you asked me what I don't like about the sport is mediocrity. I think it's a problem in our country. It's a problem in our country that we are happy. वो कहावत है ना गली का राजा. मेरे को 10 लोग ने भाई बुला दिया.
कुएं का मेंढक.
I like to be a big fish in a small pond.
Yeah.
Number one in India. Everyone wants to be number one in India. My point is, who gives a fuck about India?
Yeah.
Right now in the global scene. Right? Who gives a fuck about
Yeah.
India? Really, let's be honest. So if you're number one in India, okay, you're at the top of the heap. But heap of what? Heap of shit. Really? I mean, does that mean anything?
Yeah.
It's. I mean, I'm not sure if this is. I'm sure people are going to hate on me for saying it, but I've always believed. That's never been my goal. People have this. I mean, you see 1 million Facebook profiles with number one fighter in the country. Who's putting out a ranking? Who's putting out that ranking? Today you can start a blog and say, okay, XYZ is the number one country. Evolution is the number one team. What have I achieved? Nothing. And my point is, it's become a culture. I guess it's become a culture where nobody wants to prove themselves or have their own journey. Okay,
Understood.
If you've had a journey, I would like to, I'd like to get on social media, trash talk about you, and somehow I live in a belief that if I beat you, all your achievements are mine. Oh, they are not. I've beaten you. I mean, it's a fist fight. At the end of the day, how much ever we want to make it sound good, it's a fist fight. I mean, let's be really honest. Break down what do we do. Yeah? We go in a steel cage, half naked, put on a pair of 4-ounce gloves and punch each other in the face.
Yeah.
I mean, that is what it is. So you beat me in a fist fight. That doesn't take what I have achieved. Go out and achieve something for your own. I see so many so-called, the leading BJJ players, and oh, this guy's a shit. Why is he a black belt? Dude, he's a black belt. What does it matter to you? Why don't you go get one? Right? Everybody believes their journey is the right one, and everybody else's is the wrong one. It's just there's just too much sense of entitlement. There's just too much, and like I've always said, my whole thing is that. Do you really want to be the best in India? I mean, is that it? I don't think it will take much to be the best in India. Like, create a Facebook profile, put it in the bio, and you are the best in the country. Yeah? We know promotions where, let's be honest, we've known fighters that are ridiculous 11-0 and 13-1, and the first fight they put out in an international scene,
Yeah.
they're nothing. Show me all these so-called the top Indian fighters. Please put away their domestic records. Let's talk international records. And let's talk how many in true number ones do we have in this country. But that's something people don't want to hear. It's not cool to say, right? Because then you're putting down your own people. No, I'm not. Raise your own level.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. We go to world championships. We go to all these things. We are happy winning. Oh, so-and-so fighter won one round. Yeah. I mean, is that all that we have, winning one round?
Yeah.
You know, I understand. I'm not saying that, we should be winning, we should be top 5 team, but let's not get content with winning one round.
Understood.
Let's tell each other that, listen, this is not good enough. We need to do more. We are making heroes out of people that, and it's I believe, yeah, you give them credit where it's due, 100%. These everybody. I am with fighters throughout the day, and one thing that I find is, my journey has been the toughest. We live in a third world country. None of us have an easy life. None of us do.
Everyone has.
So you need to wake up and realize that you need to get out of that mode that only I'm having a tough life, and understand that everybody is struggling. So everybody who fights is doing a great job. I think if anybody who steps in and fights does a great job, because every day we are fighting 10 different battles. So if you can put that aside and step on the mat and train and then go and fight but the point is, we are making heroes of people who are happy being mediocre. We're setting the bar low for ourselves, and I don't think that we are going to get too far doing that. Till we don't start demanding more from ourselves and saying it's okay to demand more. Just because you say that, listen, I don't think this was a great performance because all we won is one round.
Okay.
Or all we won, is 2 medals. It's not that I'm not, I'm not a nationalist, or I'm not, I'm doing disservice to my country. No, I would rather go and win 10 medals.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those guys who believes that the only way to train or win a medal is when you go abroad and do a fight camp. I think there is huge talent in this country, but are we actually using that? Are we actually using that? What are we doing? We are fighting amongst each other for the spot of number 1 in India.
True.
Great. And that's okay. I think that's a good start to your career, but that can't be your career. And if it is, well, that's where you are. And that's something that I've always had an issue with. That's what I keep telling my guys also. If your goal is really to be number 1 in the country, believe me, you don't have much to do. You really don't have much to do.
True. Yeah. And coming to that, what's your advice to athletes who are up and coming and who just starting it out and want to pursue MMA as a professional career? What's your best advice to them as an athlete, as a coach, as someone who knows the sport since almost 2 decades now?
So somewhere I've believed that everyone should understand their role. Well, that's a problem we have in our country is, if you're an athlete,
okay,
put your head down, train and fight. Leave the coaching to your coach. Let him, if you let him figure out what are the best fights for you. Figure out a path. Okay. Again, you need to understand that you're not in a country where this is a mainstream sport. Nobody can turn it around for you in 2 years or 3 years. It's going to take time. I'm not saying it's not possible. It is, and it might happen. But do the one thing you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Train. Stop believing that every win is entitling you to something. I mean, I've had problems with people who believe that because they've won some local competition or a local scene or whatever. Now suddenly they need to be trained for free. No, you don't. No, I mean,
That
to
sense
train,
of entitlement should
yeah,
go away.
to train, you need a roof on your head. In a city like Bombay, there's no roof on your head
Yeah, yeah,
if you don't pay.
yeah.
So understand, do your stuff, pay your dues, go and train. That's all you're supposed to do. If you trust your team, you trust your coach, leave the other bit to them. All you need to focus on is training.
Yeah,
And I think as an athlete, that's the biggest thing you can do, is do your job. I see so many, like I have this problem with so many guys in my team. Oh, so this guy is doing this and this guy is training here. And it does not matter. Where you train doesn't matter. It's what you're putting into your training is all that matters in the end.
understood. Yeah,
And it's, I find it, I guess I come from a time where, our coaches were everything. Like I find this new term very hard to digest, life coaches. Isn't that what a coach is?
yeah,
My coach taught me how to be a better person. One of my biggest influences in my life is my coach, Mr. Darren De Silva. He's not only taught me how to fight or how to coach, but how to be a better person and in turn be a better coach. And
Yeah.
he's taught me the business side of it. He's taught me, how I can just overall be a better person. And I
Okay.
think that's a job of a coach. So
yeah.
I really never need a life coach. I've had my own coach, and I think that's been enough for me.
Yeah.
So again, as an up and coming athlete, train,
Yeah.
train, man, just train. Don't get caught up. Believe me, social media is good. I guess today likes and followers is what makes you good. But at the end of the day, when you step in the cage and that door closes, really it doesn't matter how many followers you have.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, it's become very important because now everything's business, right? So promotions want to see how many followers you have before they give you a fight and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's you today it's not necessarily the best fighter getting the fights, but the best person who can sell himself getting the fight. So I guess we are in this so-called Conor McGregor era where we believe that the only way of doing it is by
PR
putting down
matters
others.
basically.
Yeah, and PR has always mattered. Let's be really honest. But somehow, right now, the belief is that the only way I'm going to get anything is by putting down others. I come from the time where I believe that if I have to say I'm the best, then I'm probably not. Somebody else needs to say it, then I probably am. If I have to keep saying it,
Yeah.
then I'm probably not. Then it's a gimmick that I'm. It's a. I don't know what to call it. Like how they have a characters in WWE. Like
Yeah. Everyone has a gimmick.
Yeah. So I guess then it's a gimmick, and I just need to convince enough
That
people.
becomes entertainment. That's
Yeah.
not then true blue fighting.
Yeah, but then again, I don't know.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. I'm 20 years behind him, so.
My favorite question is what's your favorite oral healthcare brand, like which you use on a daily basis, which you love to use?
So I'm going to go way back. I think since the time I remember 1980s, Colgate was the only brand available.
Okay.
I remember when I was in boarding and somebody would bring Aquafresh. Was like the biggest thing ever. Like that was like the biggest thing ever. Like that was like this guy's got money. he's using Aquafresh.
So what I currently using? Are you still with Colgate? Are you loyal to Colgate?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I am.
Okay, okay, fair enough. Your son is following your footsteps. So how does that feel?
Good at times, really scared at times. Like I said, not the best place to be. But yeah, you feel good. I guess we all do what we do for some sort of a legacy. I guess that is my legacy. If I don't. It's his choice. A lot of people ask me, why do you want him to be a fighter? Like my family hates the fact that I do this. So I mean, not my immediate family, but a lot of people in my
Yeah.
family don't like the fact that I do this. And oh, you're an engineer and you could have done better with your life. I'm like, "Nah, this is my life.
Yeah.
I think this is the best I could have done with it."
Yeah.
But so I want him to train. For now, I want him to train. Because I think it helps a lot.
Yeah.
It helps a lot. It builds character. It teaches it teaches a lot. I started off with martial arts when I was 9 years old. Started off with the traditional karate and then boxing and stuff like that. And so I really, really want him to learn that, because one thing that it taught me growing up, I was always a big chubby kid. And so you become the butt of jokes and all that, but it never mattered to me. I never needed therapy sessions.
Yeah.
Never have any trauma from that, because I think what martial arts taught me was there was a lot of confidence, there was a lot of self belief. I knew that my weight didn't matter.
Yeah.
I could still do things, and discipline, which is I think which I see in him. There's that there's that sense of he knows that Saturday Sunday is training. He
Yeah.
knows that he needs to be there.
Yeah.
He knows I'm not a father on the mat. Though I mean, I guess that's the most quality time I get with him.
Yeah.
But he knows that if he doesn't do it right, I will come down hard on him, like I would on any other teammate.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see him bonding with the other team members. I see him, becoming a man of his own.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good. I hope someday he wants to fight. I'd love to be in his corner. I think it's his journey. I think I'd like him to lead his journey. But yeah, he's doing well for now. He's got his grey belt in BJJ under Carlos, Professor Carlos.
Yeah.
He's actually fought more than more martial arts than I have for now.
Oh, really?
He's done wushu tournament. He's done judo tournament. He's done a BJJ tournament.
Okay.
I am, so this time we were in Goa, and there's this promotion called Art of Combat, which is put out by this lovely lady called Bonnie. She's doing a great job. So she had this entire kids MMA, and it was beautiful to watch. So I'm looking forward to the next edition, and I'm going to get him to do his first MMA fight. So yeah, I mean, I guess for now I want him to just fight. I want him to learn. I want him to.
And he's enjoying it.
Yeah, he's enjoying it. As long as he's enjoying
Exactly.
it, I mean, if he decides he wants to fight, great. If not, at least he's learned a nice skill.
True.
I would like him to keep doing, even if he doesn't want to do it for a career. I would like him to keep training and keep being a part of this sport. So that's something I guess we'll know in 10 years.
Yeah.
Once he has his girlfriends and his other things, whether this is still a priority.
True. So coming to the end, what's next for you in 2022?
With the current scenario, I think staying alive is the big goal. I don't know, just joking.
Before, sorry to interrupt you, just before we come to that, I wanted to ask you is how did COVID impact you and your gym and the sport, according to you?
So I think it set us back a couple of years as a sport, as a business, obviously, with the government coming down hard and it being the most
Bombay was the
contact
worst.
sport you could.
We had the worst lockdown.
I mean, we were like under 8 months, we were not allowed to train. And even when we started, obviously there was a lot of, people had that fear of, this being a contact sport. I mean, it's like literally we get intimate with each other every day. So still people are, most of our old members are still staying away. Some of them have come to terms with it and are trying to, still train and stuff like that. But yeah, it has set us back quite a few years. On a personal level, it made me gain back a lot of weight that I had lost. I was down about 50 kgs, but I'm back up 15 now.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's being locked up in the house 8 months had its own
Mentally too,
negative
right?
effects.
mentally too, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I went from training twice a day and doing 13 sessions. Yeah, 13 sessions a week to doing nothing at all.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is just not. Yeah, that was a lot to deal with. That was really a lot to deal with. The first month was, yeah, it was pretty depressing,
Yeah.
pretty dark. So yeah, just happy to be back on the mat training and doing what I do. Yeah, it was tough times. I think we're still dealing with it. It's going to get better. I guess everywhere people are coming to terms that we have to live with this now.
Yeah.
So I guess.
So coming to that last question, what's next for you in 2022?
On a personal level, I have a loss on my record. I'm 0-1 amateur fighter, so I need to get that back.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm going to turn 43 March, so I need to get my win back as soon as I can. Don't know how many more I can do, but I'm going to try and get my win back this year. I want to get back in the cage. I want to fight. I want to keep competing, doing my BJJ tournaments. That is something I think I probably do till my arms and legs stop moving. As a team, we have a lot that is happening. Beginning March, we have the World Championships, which is obviously one of the big things.
Fighting in that, yeah.
I have a lot of my up and coming guys making their pro debuts this year.
Okay.
Which is long time due. They should have done it 2 years ago, but then again, yeah, like I said, COVID set us years back.
True.
I have guys like Navdeep, who's been one of the pillars of our team. He's been around for so long, and his pro debut has been like long due. He is making his pro debut. I think Sumit, who's one of our top up and coming guys, and he's one of the talents to look forward to
in the country.
I think easily. I mean, easily.
Yeah.
He has proved himself.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about what he has done, and time for him to make his pro debut.
Yeah.
Obviously he wants to go back to the World Championship and win that gold, which is
two silvers, right?
2 silvers, yeah. So he wants to go back and win that gold, and he's pretty adamant on it. So great, I'm happy he has that goal, and I'm happy he's not content with the silver and he wants to try again.
Yeah.
Akshata, I think she needs to make her pro debut. She's been around for so long and she's proven herself, internationally, nationally. So I'm looking for her to make her pro debut.
Yeah.
She's I think probably one of the strongest members of the team. She keeps the whole team together, and I think the whole team is excited about her pro debut. So she's one of those people who lifts all of us up. So I think her pro debut will be like a team event. Then a lot of big fights coming up. I know, a lot of my amateur guys are fighting. So these guys also again had a break in their careers. Didn't help them. Again, struggling to get back up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be good. A lot of new talent in the room. We have guys like Karan who've joined us. It always lifts the room up. When you have new people, when you have new teammates, who are hungry, who are out there to prove themselves, and they've joined you with the intention of bettering themselves. They lift the whole room. So it's been a good last 6 months. I think that's something good that's come out of the pandemic, is that now we have a lot of people who are out there trying to prove themselves. So going to be a busy 2022. I hope there are no more lockdowns. And you feel scared to say anything now because March now seems like far away.
It's going to be 2 years.
And it seems far away because you don't know from now till then. It takes a week of cases to go up and then suddenly everything's shut and you're like, wow.
Any new tournaments coming from your side?
In the sense, we'd be
evolution or
me and my partner Ms. Preksha, we are looking to bring YFC back. YFC, I'd started YFC with my I can say ex-partners in 2014, and literally, I mean, literally, you can Google, and I don't think at that time there were any amateur tournaments being done at that level. So yeah, we did that till about 2017.
Okay.
We did events all over India, and then we joined hands with a couple of our colleagues, and we started X1.
Yeah.
We both are looking now to try and bring YFC back. But
So it's in the pipelines.
yeah, pipelines in the sense, as soon as we get somebody who wants to put in some money.
Yeah.
Like with any MMA show, money is a big challenge. So
But money in the sport is coming in fast now.
you'd think, but
I'm just saying
I'm
for,
not
for
sure. Yeah.
organizers. I'm not saying for athletes per se, but then a lot of
Even as
tournaments-
organizers, believe me,
No?
you think that, but not really. I mean,
Okay.
unless you're a known personality, like a glorified stuntman or something like that. Not really. I don't
Okay.
think so. I don't think so.
well, we hope that changes
Yeah,
this year at least.
we hope so too. I mean, we have a couple of good plans in mind for YFC, but we almost hopefully, let's see. I mean, this pandemic's not done us any favor.
Yeah.
Every time we put together an event, the government goes not more than 50 people, and I'm like, okay, this is not happening.
True.
My athletes are more than 50, so I don't think I can put together an event.
True.
So yeah. I think you should reframe that question to say, what are your goals for this quarter? Yeah.
No, I'm sure it's gonna be a good year for everyone.
Yeah, I hope
It
so.
looks like
I
that.
hope
It
so.
looks
Yeah,
like that.
It looks like that. The start was good.
Yeah, true. And currently the situation is much better than what it was. And
Yeah, I guess it's more than it being better. I guess people are getting more knowledgeable about it, and people are getting more responsible about it. And,
yeah.
Initially it was just a lot of conspiracy and conspiracy theories and anti-conspiracy theories, and whether you should wear a mask, whether you should not wear a mask, vaccination, nay, this is a chip, and I guess we've all grown out of that to a point where we are just living. I guess. Hopefully, we continue doing that.
True. It was lovely having you today
Same
for
here.
this episode, and we'll hopefully host you soon and catch up with you for all the tournaments ahead. And thank you for coming.
Yeah, and thank you for being a big support to the MMA community. I know you guys have been just going out there and not only educating guys about the important thing, fighters about oral care and stuff like that, but I know you guys have been putting your money where your mouth is, and
True.
you guys have been sponsoring athletes for their mouth guards and stuff. And believe me, it helps. It helps to
No, and we
what
see
you
that,
guys are
yes.
doing helps a lot.
True.
Thank you for doing that for us. And
No, and it's mostly because of guys like you again, because it's like we get that feeling, like mutual feeling that okay, this guy means something for that, so let's put our efforts for that, and then hopefully in the future we'll I mean,
yeah, I guess it's a circle, because what you do makes us believe that okay, there are people out there who are seeing what we are doing, and
True.
who are giving back. So it's not always just the money or the financial. It's always it's somebody just giving you a pat in the back and saying, listen, I might not, this is what I can do, but I'm here to help, and that helps. That helps a lot. It just reinforces that faith that you have in the sport and what you're doing. So thanks a lot, and
trying to do our bit. Hopefully, that's what, and hopefully we'll all have a better 2022. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's good.
Leave it here.
Yes, that. आपकी कॉफी ठंडी हो रही थी इसके लिए.
I like this. This is nice and strong.
So I'll just tell her to take some photos. Done.
Please.
We're done.